Hello, 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 what is up? This is alertwolf here, gonna bring you another anime review. I am doing a different series than a new series. And this is one I should have reviewed from at least the beginning of the second half, but I didn't do it because at the time, I was doing like 3 or 4 other shows, have either which, since then, the season has ended or have been put on some sort of hiatus. So, American TV, what can I tell you? So this is Sword Art Online, episode 20, and this one's called General of the Blazing Flame. And the reason for Sword Art Online, honestly, I found out about the show because I saw a couple of reviews by Bankai 922, and then he spoke highly of it, so that made me want to check it out. I checked out the show. I caught myself up because it was like, maybe episode 7. So I caught myself up and then I started watching the show. I absolutely love this show. It's one of my favorite shows that I'm currently watching because it has a good blend of action. It has a good blend of romance and the female characters are very strong. Asuna is great as a character. And basically the last, the last 2 episodes, man, I really wanted to do. When Kirito turned into that monster, I thought that was great. In this episode, once I get into it, I'll get into the breakdown of the episode in a second. I thought was simply one of the best fights they've done on this, and it's just that good that I'm like, I need to start reviewing the show. I know there's only 6 episodes left, but that's okay. I'll put out the 6 episode reviews. This one's coming out a little late because I made this decision today. And alright, let me get into the episode. So it starts off, Kirito and Leafa are escaping from the cave. Kirito's using his hyper speed, which surprised the hell out of Leafa. She's like, you took years off my life. They fly away. And the idea is they have to get there before the conference is attacked. And they're like, we're not going to make it. He's informed that by his little pixie girl, his little pixie daughter, that basically they're like 80 some soldiers this way, and there's more ahead, and she's like, we're not going to make it in time. So Kirito uses his ridiculous super speed, crash lands right in front, and he's like, get me your superior, we need to talk. And basically what Kirito does is he does a bluff, and he tells them that, listen, I'm the ambassador, because the general, his name is Eugene, and he's, I think, one of 2 brothers that are highly badass. And he goes there and he's like, basically, he's like, what's a Spriggan doing here? And he's like, no, dude, I'm the Spriggan ambassador. If you start trouble here, you're gonna incite the 4 races against you. You don't want that kind of trouble. So, I'm just here for a simple trade negotiation. But you attack me, you attack Spriggans everywhere, and you get all the races pissed at you. And and he's like, I don't believe you. You're not no Spriggan ambassador. You don't dress like a Spriggan ambassador. You're not a Spriggan ambassador. And he's like, of course I am. 4 races, but bad things. And he's like, I tell you what, if you last 30 seconds in battle with me, then I'll believe you're the ambassador. He's like, all right, if that's how you want it. And they say, that basically he's the strongest character in the game, this General Eugene. Right now, currently, he's the strong one of like sheer brute force. He is the strongest character. And I'm trying to see the name of no, I'm right. Yeah, he is the strongest character. And basically he during the duel, he has this sword Eugene. That is a demon sword, and its special ability is it phases through stuff when necessary. So if you go to block it with your sword, it'll become impermeable, phase right through, and slice you anyway. And Kirito's finding that out. Now, you gotta realize Kirito's at kind of half strength, because as good as Kirito is, remember, in the first half of Sword Art Online, by the end he was a double sword master, and he doesn't have a second sword, but he'll soon remedy that. So the fight is going back and forth, you know, slice, rip, cut, you know, and the fight is just getting more intense. Everybody's watching in awe. That first off, Kirito's like, hey man, it's been 30 seconds. I thought we said we were cool after 30 seconds. He's like, nah, I'm just gonna kill you. He's like, oh, alright. So he keep fighting. Kirito's losing, but he's giving it a good fight. So Kirito uses his spell to create a smoke screen. He goes down and steals Leafa's sword, therefore utilizing double sword attack. And my God, you gotta realize how fast he is with two swords. He's just ripping this guy, the best player, to shreds. To shreds. He's like, what? Slice. He couldn't even get a spell off. He was being ripped apart. He literally cut Eugene in half. He cut him in half. Hands down, the last two fights have been amazing. Definitely one of the best fights in the series, if not the best. And last week was great too. So, then, you know, he has a little flame soul of Eugene, because Eugene had died. Apparently, they use magic to resurrect him. The other council members. Now, this lets me know that basically, if your teammate dies, there's a way to save them. So technically, they could die. You use some sort of magical spell, and you can reanimate them, so they don't have to feel the full sting of death. So that's pretty cool. And he's like, well, you know, I guess I'll believe you're an ambassador. And he's like, you know, I want to fight you again. And Kirito's like, yeah, man, that was a lot of fun. See, now, Kirito's a funny dude. Funny dude. Because it looks like he's creating enemies everywhere, but he's not. Because Eugene and him give each other daps before leaving. Give each other a pound. You know what I mean? And that shows me, first off, they respect each other. Kirito even says he's not a bad dude. Because Kirito, it's just fun for him. The part of this is a game. I remember in the old Sword Art Online days, it was not a game. It was very serious, and he still fights like it's serious, but he's happy now that he could kill somebody. They're not really dead, and they're not really bad guys. They're just playing the role of a bad guy in a video game because that they think it's fun, just like he thought it was fun to be a monster. And so I thought that was pretty cool on how he's not really making enemies. I mean, this excuse me, this general was defeated by Kirito, but Kirito held no malice against him. There was no grudge there when they were done. And so I get the feeling that when it comes time for Kirito to need help, and he's going to need help, this guy has Kirito's back. Even though he's running with a bad crowd, he's honorable to me. And he respects Kirito. So I have a feeling, don't be surprised if this guy... And you got to remember, in the last video game, the guys that wore the red, the main guy who wore the red was his boy. So I'm just going off of visual cues here. Alright, so let me keep going. So then Leafa explains what happened and what's going on, and basically Sakia Sigurd, I don't know how to pronounce this dude's name. The douchebag. Let's just call him the douchebag that was Leafa's former boss at the head of her guild. And he's a tribal council member, or whatever it was. And Sakia is like, who's the head of the whole race, is like, oh, man, the general says what up. I'm still here. Oh, so you went after me. But you know what? I know what you need. You don't want to be you don't want to be one of us anymore. You're just tired of playing this type of role, and I understand that. So I'm going to honor your wish. This is the type of queen I am. Banishment. Gone. You're banished. Go around the forest and like be a neutral game party. Maybe playing it that way will be more fun. And he's like, I'll get you for this, and then she cuts him off. So then the Sith, or the cat Sith, she was like, hey, Kirito-kun, dude, you're not really an ambassador. And he's like, nope, no, I'm not. It's just a big lie. I made it up on the spot. And Saki is like, for you to make it up on the spot like that, dude, that's quick thinking. Like, you're crazy. And he's like, yeah, I don't know. So now the girls are instantly attracted to Kirito, and it's a little bit like a harem anime for a split second. You know, they both get on his arm. He ends up giving the captive chick a bucket load of cash. I forget, you know, for a reason. And again, this is about Kirito's building allies. I mean, even in the last episode, he didn't kill that last guy. Afterwards, the last guy was expecting the scary dude to come out, and he's like, hey, man, what's going on? It was a fun fight, wasn't it? You saw I was a monster and was chewing you guys up, man. It was crazy. It's crazy, man. How about we cut a deal? And they're like, ha ha ha. You know, because Kirito doesn't have the malice here. And what's funny is when the girls get on his arm, Leafa's like, get away from him. He's my. She wants to say brother, but she hasn't put two and two together yet. So, man, you know, why is it whenever I do a review, I'm like physically ill? You know, through all of them. I watched some of them recently, and I've been coughing or sniffling in like nearly all of them. And all right, so basically, they both offer. Both council members, both chicks offer to take him in, and he's like, listen, I promised that Leafa and I were going to go. We have to go to the World Tree. You guys are going to go to the World Tree, but it's too late for me. I got to go. There's somebody in the real world that I can't reach, and I think they're on the top of the tree. And again, closer. He just has to come out and say it. If he just says, Asuna's up there, if he uses the name, his sister will immediately realize it's Kirito. But I love how they're playing with us on this. They thank him. They thank both of them. He's like, oh, it's nothing. Leafa explains that she was going to leave and be a wandering dude, you know, but now that he's gone, talking about her former boss, she doesn't want to do that, but she is going to see she'll be back, but she's going to see this thing through. And, you know, Saki is like, I actually understand that. You know, that makes sense. So, again, more ally building. These two chicks are obviously Kirito's allies. And you know, he's only been playing this game for a few days now, and he's building a coalition, sort of. So, you know, he hangs the Catsif chick a bunch of money for something, and I said that before, and then they go off, you know, and they talking, and his little daughter and the little pixie in the pocket comes out, and she's like, you know, Dad, your heart was racing when those two girls were on your arm. And he goes, well, that's because I'm a guy. I'm supposed to race. And you know, I mean, one more thing about the bag of money, because it's blown away by it. It's worth a fortune, and it's ridiculously heavy, and he hands it to them. He's like, they're like, you could buy a castle with this. He's like, I don't mind, I don't need it. Which is funny to me, because you would think he would need it for better swords, but you know, she's like, all right, back to the explanation of the chick thing, and she's like, what about me? And they're like, Leafa's like, what about me? Am I that bad too? And They look at each other and are like, no, you're different. And she goes, why? He goes, well, because, I don't know, I don't look at you as, you're not like a girl to me. She's like, what? And she starts to get angry, and he realizes, and he starts to fly away. He's like, no, I mean that in a good thing, like, you know, it's easy between you, because you're not like a girl, because you're my fucking sister, and that's who you remind me of, but I haven't just come out, all I have to say is, yeah, you're like a sister to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, the thoughts are there for both of them. They're like on the tip of their tongues, they're just not getting it out. Yeah, you seem different because you're my fucking little sister, but we'll figure that out. And, alright, so they fly off, and then you think the episode's over, and then you get a scene with Asuna, and, you know, Bankai called this, because he called that she was paying attention last week with the codes, and she was going to get out soon. And that's exactly what she did. She typed in the codes to her little cage, and she was out. Because she is no damsel in distress. This chick is intelligent, powerful, and capable, and she was planning on escaping anyway. And she just, I love it, she just does it so nonchalantly, like, oh, beep, 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 boop. I'm on the way out. And next week's episode, man, I cannot wait. It is gonna be good. It's gonna be a lot of fun. The Truth of Alpha is the name of the. Ooh, it just shrank there. It's the name of the next episode. 21. Sorry. Having said that, I'm gonna rate this one a 5 out of 5. It was awesome. That's all I have to say about it. The fight was epic. When there's epicness to an episode, there you go. That's a 5 out of 5 in my book, and that's exactly what you got. You know, the series itself I really love. I love the characters in it. You know, and I you know, it's funny because I thought maybe, you know, there was somewhat of a lack of seriousness because it was a typical save the princess type of thing, but they put a good spin on it. You know, they added a greater complexity for the plot as far as, you know, what that douchebag there is doing to people, and the fact that he's kidnapping him and reprogramming him, and you know, basically, so they, with the fact that Asuna managed to escape on her own, and you know, we don't know what's going to happen in the next episode. So there's, you know, and the fights, because again, lacking the life and death stuff of the first half of the season, you would think that this half again lacks that seriousness, but the fights when he has fought have been incredible. So and the addition of magic and all that new stuff that's throwing Kirito off balance, and he's just getting better as things progress. I'm loving every loving every addition, and the added thing about not knowing that his sister's his sister, and the reason why the game errored, crashed, and put him where they put him was the game errored because of his character data. The reason why he landed where he landed was because his sister was playing the game at the same time, and the game put him next to his sister. That was part of the error. And he hadn't because he hasn't thought about why he landed where he landed. The reason why he landed where he landed was so he was near to it where his sister was playing. The game errored and brought him towards his sister. So he really, it's not a coincidence that he ran into his sister. It's because that's how things worked. So again, I'm really liking the series and the direction they're going in. It's not as, there's not that sense of melancholy in the first half of the show, but there is that sense of urgency, and I like that. So again, episode 5 out of 5. This video ran a little long. They usually do when I first get into a show. I usually go an extra 5-10 minutes of me talking about it, especially if I catch it in the middle. So this is me saying click it up if you like it. Comment if you must, subscribe if you can, and this is alertwolf signing off.